There's something remarkable. Your medical science has recently validated something that ancient healing practices understood for centuries. Hidden within your body exists a specific point, smaller than a coin, that can naturally enhance your circulation, restore vital sensitivity, and reawaken your physical vitality, even if you haven't felt truly powerful in decades. It may sound surprising, perhaps even unconventional, but it's grounded in biological reality. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Mitchell Harlow, a specialist in men's wellness with more than 18 years dedicated to helping individuals reclaim their energy, self-assurance, and physiological well-being through natural methods. I want you to listen closely, because what I'm going to share has transformed the lives of hundreds of men, restoring years they believed were permanently lost without relying on pharmaceuticals, surgical intervention, or unwanted side effects. Let me be direct with you. Growing older isn't the culprit. The genuine issue stems from how your circulation functions. Throughout your existence, accumulated stress combined with sedentary routines and minimal physical engagement causes the muscular structures in your pelvic region to become increasingly contracted. These are the very muscles governing blood distribution and neurological sensitivity. Visualize a garden hose that's been kinked. The liquid is available but cannot travel where it's required. When these muscles maintain their tension across years and years, blood vessels become narrower, nerve endings become less responsive, and your body's natural capacity diminishes. The majority of men mistakenly believe this results from hormone decline or the simple passage of time. The truth is far different. It's a mechanical issue. Tension is obstructing your system's inherent circulation. But imagine this different scenario. What if, for merely 60 seconds each day, you could engage a particular anatomical region between your pelvic structures and completely reverse this deterioration? You could relax that rigidity, reestablish unrestricted flow, and revitalize your entire system. This isn't conjecture. This is fundamental human anatomy. That specific zone sits directly above an intricate network of circulatory pathways and nerve endings that govern your urinary function, your reproductive health, and your performance. When you apply the correct stimulation to this location, you activate your body's ability to generate more oxygen, amplify blood circulation, and trigger identical natural processes that synthetic treatments merely attempt to replicate. I've witnessed men navigating their 50s, 60s, even their 80s experience genuine physical transformation in merely several weeks. Increased vitality when they wake, fewer nighttime disruptions, and an internal sense of capability that had seemingly vanished. They didn't choose a shortcut. They simply gave their organism a compelling reason to function at its optimal capacity again. You don't require costly supplements or experimental protocols. Your body simply needs consistency. 1 minute daily. That's genuinely all it requires. The identical mechanism responsible for decline can actually be reconditioned to restore your natural function. If you've been experiencing disappointment thinking deterioration is simply inevitable, reconsider. Your body isn't fundamentally damaged. It simply requires the appropriate biological signal to activate its inherent healing systems. Throughout this conversation, I'll demonstrate exactly where this point is located, explain why it functions so effectively, and walk you through precisely how to utilize it. Before we continue, I want to acknowledge that many men initially feel hesitant about this approach. That hesitation is completely understandable. However, I want to reframe this for you. This isn't unusual or inappropriate. This represents genuine medical self-care within your own home. The vast majority of men accept that once they reach 50, physical performance inevitably declines. They resign themselves to the narrative that their body is shutting down, their hormonal systems are depleting, and they have limited options aside from resignation or pharmaceutical dependence. However, here's what the science actually shows. Your chronological age isn't the fundamental problem. The authentic underlying cause is muscular rigidity and compromised circulation specifically within your pelvic floor, that network of muscular tissue supporting your bladder, your reproductive anatomy, and your intimate capabilities. Evaluate how many hours per day you remain stationary working at a desk, operating a vehicle, maintaining attention on screens. This accumulates significantly. Every hour spent in sitting position tightens your lower pelvic musculature, the tissue that should remain mobile and robust. Gradually, across months and years, these structures become simultaneously stiff and weakened, comparable to a piece of elastic material that's been overextended and has lost its original resilience. This concealed rigidity restricts circulation and compresses the delicate neural pathways governing arousal and physical response. The consequence is diminished responsiveness, reduced performance capability, and lessened sensation throughout your body. Yet here's what brings genuine hope. Your biological systems can reacquire what they've forgotten. When you eliminate that underlying tension and reestablish appropriate circulation, genuine transformation happens relatively quickly. Your rest becomes more restorative. You experience more genuine awakeness. Your physical responses begin functioning closer to how they performed during your younger years. Among the most straightforward methods to accomplish this is through direct, physical engagement with the spot regulating this circulation, the small region between your scrotum and anal opening called the perineal area. This location connects to that identical intricate system of blood vessels and neural networks responsible for your physical capabilities and sensation. Light stimulation of this region lasting just 60 seconds daily can enable your pelvic tissue to release its tension, allow blood vessels to expand, and deliver enhanced oxygenation to the tissues requiring it most urgently. It resembles resolving an internal traffic obstruction within your own physiology. The outcome becomes evident relatively quickly. Individuals practicing this regularly frequently experience not merely improved intimate capability, but heightened urinary regulation, diminished lower back and pelvic pressure, and a progressive rebuilding of internal confidence. This practice isn't novel. For ages, traditional healing systems employed this approach, yet modern scientific research now validates why it generates these results. When you stimulate this region, your physiology generates nitric oxide, that identical molecular substance responsible for blood vessel dilation. This creates enhanced circulation, strengthened nerve function, and a natural influence on your testosterone equilibrium. You're not demanding your body to perform against its nature. You're restoring its capacity to function normally. You may harbor some uncertainty about engaging with this technique. This reaction is exceptionally typical. Nonetheless, there's nothing embarrassing about participating in intentional self-care. This is fundamental anatomy, not something to feel shame about. The objective isn't gratification. The objective is restoration of the physiological capabilities and blood delivery systems that time and accumulated stress have diminished. I worked with a man named Timothy, 68 years old, who had essentially decided that intimate connection was behind him. He expressed frustration at his disconnection and exhaustion with treatments that stopped providing results. Following 3 weeks using this straightforward 1-minute protocol, he arrived at my office displaying a genuine grin and said, "It's remarkable, truly. It feels like my body finally learned its function again." This demonstrates what transpires when you address the underlying problem instead of simply concealing the symptoms. So please don't dismiss this as uncomfortable or unrealistic. You've invested decades in caring for those around you. Now invest in your own well-being. Over the next portion of our conversation, I'll guide you precisely through locating this spot securely, administering the massage properly, and identifying which botanical oils can maximize your outcomes. The entire procedure takes under a minute daily, yet the implications for how your entire body functions can be extraordinary. I'm genuinely curious what you've been experiencing. When did you last attempt something unexpected for your own wellness? Frequently, the most transformative change begins with a simple action. Let me walk you through the precise method for discovering and engaging with this region securely and with maximum effectiveness. You'll need no specialized devices or professional instruction, merely several minutes of persistent attention and familiarity with your personal anatomy. The location we're concentrating on is referred to as the perineal region. It's the small area existing in the space between your scrotum and your anal opening. While this spot might not appear significant, underneath that section of skin flows a comprehensive system of vessels and nerve endings nourishing your entire lower body. When you engage with this area using the appropriate method, you signal those blood vessels to relax. You ease the tissue that frequently retains stress, and you enhance the movement of blood throughout your entire lower region. The application is straightforward. First, discover a position where you feel comfortable and supported. You might sit on the edge of a sturdy chair with your legs spaced comfortably apart, or position yourself lying down with your knees elevated. The crucial element is maintaining relaxation, so your lower muscles remain released. Second, determine the correct location. Using your fingertips, apply light pressure to the soft region between your scrotum and anal opening. You'll detect this area feels somewhat more sensitive or tender compared to the tissue nearby. That sensation is precisely what you're searching for. Third, implement appropriate pressure. Utilize your index finger and middle finger, applying pressure equivalent to the force you'd use testing whether produce is prepared to consume, feeling the firmness without inflicting any discomfort. Fourth, initiate the technique. Execute unhurried circular motions for approximately 30 seconds. Then reverse your motion direction for another 30 seconds. Alternatively, you might apply sustained pressure for 5 seconds, then release and duplicate. The objective is engagement and activation, not overexertion. Imagine you're instructing your tissue to recover its ability to release tension, and your circulation to restore its natural expansion. Fifth, apply a beneficial botanical substance to improve the experience and amplify the results. Castor oil functions exceptionally well because it penetrates thoroughly, promotes circulation, and decreases swelling. Coconut oil provides comfort, contains organic antimicrobial qualities, and supports hormonal wellness. Black seed oil, respected in ancient healing traditions, facilitates hormonal balance and diminishes muscular tension. Gently warm your chosen oil between your hands before implementation improves how thoroughly it absorbs and makes the entire experience more pleasant. Sixth, pick the ideal timing. Either morning or evening serves your purposes. Morning stimulation activates circulation and energizes your entire day. Evening implementation facilitates relaxation, diminishes muscular tension, and enhances your sleep quality. Merely 60 seconds is necessary. Excessive effort isn't beneficial. Regular consistency yields greater rewards than occasional intensity. If you're beginning this practice, experiencing some uncertainty is completely typical. Numerous individuals initially experience slight awkwardness, yet once they understand this represents legitimate wellness self-care rather than something unusual, they become increasingly comfortable. Throughout the opening week or two, many report noticing gradual improvements, better rest, lighter sensation throughout the hips, enhanced urinary control, and peaceful sensations they hadn't experienced in considerable time. I previously worked with a man named Vincent, 73 years old, who completed this practice every evening prior to sleeping. Following merely 14 days of this approach, his lower spinal discomfort decreased substantially, and his nighttime bathroom visits diminished from 3 instances to just 1. Following 4 weeks, his overall vigor and emotional state transformed markedly. He communicated to me, "I hadn't understood how severely I was maintaining tension throughout my body until I gave myself permission to release it." That's what this methodology accomplishes. It permits your physical systems to rediscover stability. When your pelvic tissue relaxes and circulation moves without restriction, your entire organism functions with greater efficiency. Your biochemistry reaches equilibrium, oxygen reaches every component more rapidly, and physical sensation naturally amplifies. You're not compelling your body into function. You're enabling it to work as it naturally should. Dedicate 60 seconds this evening to yourself. This minimal investment can generate substantially greater advantages than you might anticipate. When you combine these fundamental methods, movement, intentional breathing, and your 1-minute engagement with this specific region, you're delivering your physical systems everything required to maintain strength and responsiveness. And the remarkable aspect regarding all of this is complete naturalness. Nothing artificial, nothing creating dependency, nothing that triggers harmful reactions. Simply you, your conscious attention, and your dedication to consistent practice. I've observed this integrated approach transform individuals' lives. Men experiencing their 60s who felt exhausted and emotionally distant suddenly recovered a sense of capability they believed permanently lost. Their energy levels resumed normal function, their sleep became restorative, and their personal connections were revitalized. This transformation didn't happen because they uncovered some hidden miracle solution. It occurred because they ultimately discovered how to supply their body the ingredients it requires to function normally. I need to communicate something essential to each of you. Your physical form isn't fundamentally broken. It doesn't require rescue or extraordinary intervention. It simply requires reactivation of its natural capabilities. Each individual observing this communication possesses the inherent ability to restore his physical capability. The genuine power doesn't originate from medication. It comes from your daily selections, the small moments when you decide personal well-being supersedes complacency. So here's my challenge for you. Throughout the subsequent 3 weeks, dedicate yourself to merely 1 minute daily. Practice the engagement method, incorporate additional movement into your day, and breathe with genuine purpose. That's your complete assignment. The majority of men observe improvement very quickly. Yet by the conclusion of the 3-week period, the transformation frequently feels integrated into your normal function. Better movement of blood throughout your body, emotional stability, and internal confidence that originates from genuine physiological restoration. Remember this essential truth before you proceed. It's genuinely never too advanced in your life to reestablish your connection with your physical form. Your age isn't a limiting factor, and your situation isn't irreversible. Your wellness, your physical capability, your capacity for energy remain present, waiting for you to actively reclaim them. Should this information provided you encouragement, interact with this content. The more men discover this factual science-supported guidance, the better. Maintain your engagement if you haven't yet, because I consistently provide legitimate evidence-supported wellness techniques designed specifically for men navigating their 5th decade and beyond to sustain physical capability, internal assurance, and autonomous management of their own well-being. And through the community interaction section, express what single modification you're implementing beginning tonight. I'm Dr. Mitchell Harlow, reminding you your physical systems retain their natural capability for thriving. All that's required is your dedicated focus. Maintain your regular practice, sustain your intellectual curiosity, and continuously recognize that genuine capability isn't diminished through chronological aging. It's actively created through deliberate action.